Well, hi everyone, welcome to another week when we're going to be looking at the tales of Jesus, the parables he told in the Gospels to his disciples and to his followers and to those round about, and what we can learn from them. And this week we're going to look at the little story he told of the persistent widow, the parable of the persistent widow. And this one is all about prayer. It begins with this. Jesus told his disciples a parable to show them they should always pray and not give up. And then he said, in a certain town there was a judge who feared neither God nor cared what people thought. And there was a widow in that town who kept coming to him with a plea, "Grant me justice against my adversary." For some time he refused, but finally he said to himself, "Even though I don't fear God or care what people think, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see she gets justice, so she won't eventually come and attack me." And the Lord said, "Listen to what the unjust judge says. And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones, who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly. However, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth?" Well, this is Luke chapter 18, the beginning of the chapter, if you want to look it up, and I do recommend that you do. And this is all about prayer. It doesn't mention the word prayer in the parable, but Jesus tells us it's all about prayer. And it's about two people, the widow and the judge. And today I want to look a little bit at the widow. She is the hero or the heroine of the story. She is the one that Jesus highlights. Now, I don't know what your idea of a hero is. We have lots of films and comics about superheroes, about Batman and Spider-Man and Superman and all the rest. And most of these have some kind of magic or wonderful power that gives them a way to get things done, to protect them or to save the poor or whatever it is they're trying to do. But the heroine of this story is someone who is utterly powerless. First of all, she is a woman, which in Jesus' time meant that she did not have anywhere near as much power as men. Women were, in many respects, second-class citizens back then, but Jesus makes her the heroine. He is saying something very particular about women, as he does in other places in the Gospels, and as he allows them to be the witnesses to his death and his resurrection. Women are not second-class citizens for Jesus. But this is not any widow, this is any woman, this is a widow, a woman who has lost her husband. And in doing that, it almost certainly means she is financially very badly off. Widows proverbially were the ones who needed to be taken care of in the New Testament. But worse than that, she is the one who goes to the judge. Now, as someone who has little power and is something of a second-class citizen, she would not normally speak for herself. A husband would, or perhaps a son, or even a cousin or a brother, but clearly she has none of these to fall back on. She has to speak for herself. She is the epitome of weakness. I remember stories back in the Middle East in Beirut during the Civil War. You'd hear that men would be killed or captured, kidnapped, tortured even. But women could do things with impunity where the men couldn't. There are stories of women going up to militia gunmen and shouting at them and saying what they're doing is wrong. And because it was a woman, she could get away with it. There was this kind of idea of weakness turning into power. There was a chivalry among even these gunmen who would not see a woman as a threat and would not harm her. And there's a little bit of this in the story. The woman has massive courage as she goes to the judge without any power. She only has weakness. But even though he doesn't fear what people think or fear God, he cannot say anything against this woman. This is about prayer. And Jesus is saying that we are like the widow. We too are weak and helpless in many situations. We too cannot always do what we want or have the power to do what we want. It can happen in many situations, with money or with health or with families or with employment. Jesus says, cry and plead as the widow did. He is saying, even if you are like the weak, helpless widow, that weakness in a way is even your advantage, because he wants us to plead to God from the depths of our hearts in prayer for justice. May we too learn from that widow how to pray.